Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Time to Laugh. I'm Haley. I'm super excited to have another stream today, reading my book, continuing in on Silver Elite. This is the first fantasy book that I'm reading on stream, and so far it's been really good. So I'm just gonna hop right in. I'm gonna do my classic taking the sleeve off. I love the sleeves because they protect the book and they're beautiful, obviously. But when I'm reading them, especially on stream, I don't like to have them on because they rustle like crazy. So, for anybody that is new and wasn't on the last stream or hasn't seen it, I'm reading this book, and it's basically about this world where it's kind of post-apocalyptic, but there's one people group that is regular, like I guess is the easiest way to say it. And then there's another group that they have a couple different names for them. They're either modified, aberrations, I think they call them, or silver veined, kind of. And basically, they have the power of telepathy, so they can read people's minds essentially. And people that are modified can talk to each other in their minds, if they're connecting with someone else who's modified. But when they're using their powers, their veins glow silver. So the name Silver Elite is, I think it's kind of a two-parter, because that their veins glow silver, but then also the main character, can't remember her name right now, unfortunately. Oh, Ren. Her name is Ren. Her uncle just got killed by the government, and because he was helping with the uprising. So the people that are in power are primes, which is what they call the regular people that don't have the power. So they're normal, and they basically are trying to find all of the modified people and kill them all. So her uncle was helping the uprising, which are the modifieds that are trying to have equality or fight back against the government, essentially. And so he was in hiding for years and years and years. And he's not actually her uncle, but he raised her. So she calls him her uncle, but he just got executed. And she got arrested right after the execution because she kind of brought suspicion to herself. And they found out who she was. They brought her in for an interrogation. She was able to kind of get through the interrogation without them thinking that she is modified, because that's the one thing that she is modified, so she has the power, and she is more powerful than a lot of the other ones, as so far as we know. But her veins don't glow silver, so there's basically no way for them to know unless they have somebody basically do an evaluation with her, in her mind, to figure out that she's modified, which there's a lot of different tells to that, and I won't go into the details, but either that, or obviously her veins going silver, or there's a thing called, I'm blanking on the name again. Anyways, there's a name for it, but it's basically when, instead of just reading somebody's mind, you can actually control them. And there's not a lot of people who can do that. Very, very few. And she hasn't learned how to control it. And so those are kind of the only ways that they would be able to find out that that she has the power. But she gets to the interrogation, which is a feat. And then she ends up, there's a captain, or I can't remember what his title is, or he's like a lieutenant or a captain or something, but he is basically the captain of they call them the Silver Elite, or the Silver, it's not a faction, basically that group of the military is the Silver Squad or whatever. And so he is I don't believe you that you're not modified, or that you're not guilty of something, and so I'm gonna make you basically trained to be a soldier. So now she's in this dilemma where she has to decide if she's going to try to fail out and let her go, which I don't think they'd let her go even if she did fail out, or she, does well and makes it into the guard. But obviously she doesn't want to work for the government. She doesn't want to work for their military because they're trying to kill all of her friends essentially. But if she does that, she doesn't want to be so good that it like brings attention to herself, because that was kind of what got them into the problem in the first place, because her uncle raised her very well, raised her, obviously taught her how to use her powers, but also, taught her how to defend herself and protect herself and all those things. And so she ended up saving a boy from a like wolf dog thing that came in and tried to like pull him out of the village. And she shot the dog like straight through the eye from lots of distance away. And so that brought suspicion on herself. And then that's what brought the military over. They found her uncle, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of where we're at right now. She literally they brought all of the recruits into a testing, or into like a classroom, and they gave them a test like right off the bat. They brought him in, the guy gave like a little intro, and then they gave them a test, and it was basically an observation test. So how much did you notice when you came into the room? And that was kind of their first way to weed out some of the worst people. So there was, a handful of people that already had to leave because they got 0 right on the test. So that's where we're at right now. We're on chapter 9, page 84. And as always, I have my sticky notes, and I'm gonna jump right in. Chapter 9. I think it's interesting that she is, like, I understand her dilemma, but at the same time, I don't think that she fully grasps the situation. Like, I think she's only 22, so she's definitely young. And I think her uncle, while he obviously protected her, I feel like he maybe did her a disservice in not letting her kind of experience the world a little more. Just in the sense that I don't think she understands the full picture of what's happening and how evil these people are, because she's thinking that if she fails out, they'll send her back to either the wards or back to her ranch, and that's not gonna happen even if she fails out. So I feel like the best way to go about it would be to actually go through the training and then infiltrate them from the inside. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? But she's essentially saying that she's getting kind of excited. Like, she has her schedule for her training for the next week, and it's like, interrogation tactics, intelligence gathering, knives, hand-to-hand combat. And she's like, I hate the tickle of excitement I feel in my stomach. And so they have, actually here, let me show you this is the map of the world. It low-key kind of looks like North America, but, so they have the Sanctum Point is kind of like the main city. And then there's the wards over here where there's other like villages and places where people live. So she's from Ward Z, which is down here. And she's now, it's all backwards. And she's now in Sanctum Point up here. In the city. In the big city. So she's already kind of made a friend. So she's talking to her right now. Okay, so there is an actual Silver Elite is what they call so she's currently training to be in Silver Block, which is the highest rank of soldiers essentially. But then within the Silver Block, there's Silver Elite, which is the special forces. It's a unit within the Silver Block, and they have highest security clearance. They run the riskiest operations, all that kind of stuff. And she's asking all these questions to this girl, but she's realizing that she probably shouldn't tell people that she's here against her will, because suspicious. It's so interesting too, because she basically grew up or was raised in what they call the Blacklands, which on the map, it's right here. So it's in between her ward and the Fallen Range, which at this moment we don't know. Oh, sorry. At this moment we don't know anything about. But it's basically a stretch of forest that's pitch black. Like, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. And there's like little pockets of sunlight or whatever, but that's where she grew up. So a little bit traumatic if you do, think about it a little bit. Because I think she was 6 when they went out there. And then they came back when she was a little bit older. But she spent, I think she said 2 or 3 years she spent in the Blacklands. So. Oof. Yeah, she's definitely going to have to deal with that a lot. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's kind of hard because it kind of was her fault, but you also don't want to. Like, there was so many factors that led up to that it wasn't her fault at the same time. And so she's now wrestling, right now, she's wrestling with, if she hadn't have taken the shot earlier in the book, the boy would have died. And so she would have felt guilt for not saving him because she knew she could have. But because she took the shot, her uncle got killed. So either way, she's feeling guilt. So she's like, yeah. She's kind of just wrestling with that right now, which is valid. Oh, also the girl, so she's talking to another girl in the class. Her name's Liddy. And she's explaining that people think she's a staple, which a staple is kind of like, in our terms, it's like a Nepo baby. So it's basically her parents are, high clearance, and a lot of them are known as being staples because they only get into the program because they have high clearance parents. So even if they have no qualifications or don't pass any of the, clearance tests or whatever, they still get in. And so people think that she is a staple, but she's saying, like, I cleared all the required assessments. So that's going to be an interesting friendship dynamic, I think, for them. Because they're both, I think, well, Liddy's definitely trying to prove herself, but. Ooh, okay. That's going to be an antagonist for sure. His name is Anson, Anson. And his eyes are the color of coal, but the temperature of ice, cold and lifeless. And apparently he enjoys seeing people hurt. So Liddy is warning her away from him. I always love when characters refer to other characters by, like, nicknames that are just like a physical identifier. Like, a guy is interrupting their conversation. He has golden hair and impish eyes, and she doesn't know his name, so she just calls him Golden Hair. Oh, incorrigible. I love that word. I'm a lover of words. I'm gonna tally that because also that was funny. He interrupted their conversation because he overheard that she was from Ward Z, because they kind of see them as cowboys essentially, because it's like wide open country and a lot of them are farmers or ranchers. And Liddy finds the guy very attractive, and so he's focusing more on Ren than Liddy, but he's making inappropriate jokes. Commissary. I know I've heard that word before, but for some reason I can't remember what it means. I literally have a page in my bullet journal dedicated to words that I either don't know or really like, because I always love looking up definitions of words. So I like to tab them in my books as well, because then I can go back to them or write them down. Also, the recruits are split up into red cell and black cell. So she's in black cell with Liddy. And then I can't remember if the other creepy people are in the red cell or not. Yep. Okay, so her, Liddy, and Kane. Kane is the blonde, the big blonde haired guy. The flirt. They're bunking next to each other. Uh oh. There's gonna be a lot of bullying and intercell conflict in this book, I believe. This is giving me oh, what's the movie? I feel like it's kind of giving Divergent a little bit, where they have the different like factions, and also for some reason this scene with the bunks and stuff is making me think of Kingsman, and like when they're in that thing, and I wonder if there's going to be like tests and stuff. Well, there you go. Called it. It's more of a social test, I think, than anything, but they essentially they put they started with 56. They got rid of 7 with the first test, and then they split them in half essentially into red cell and black cell. So there should be plenty of beds for everybody, but it looks like they intentionally took out some bunks. So there's a girl that's standing against the wall with her duffel that doesn't have a bed. And so one of the bullies, Kess, the girl, she is basically just being rude. Oh, okay. Ivy Ivy is one of the recruits. She's in their cell, and she is going through the Oh, hello, Mr. Hangman. I'm reading a book called Silver Elite. It looks like this, by Dani Francis. It's a fantasy book. It's very good so far. I was just saying a couple minutes ago, it kind of is reminding me of Divergent a little bit, because there's a group of people that are they basically have the power of telepathy. And then there's a group of people that aren't. And the government and the military are all non-power people. And they're trying to essentially eradicate the world of the other power people. And so the main character, Ren, she has the power. Yes, it is part of a series. I don't know. I think it's a newer author. So I don't know if the second one is out or not. I don't think it is, but I got it from Book of the Month, so it's been sitting on my shelf for a bit, and I finally decided to read it. But yeah, so the main character has the power, but most of the people with the power, their veins glow silver when they're using their power, but hers don't. So she's been able to hide herself, and of course there's a like they call themselves kind of the uprising or whatever, the people that are trying to fight back against the government. And she her uncle was working for them. He in a lots of series of events, he ended up getting killed, and she got captured, or I not guess not captured but arrested, because they knew that they were related. And so she got interrogated. Past the interrogation, they didn't find out that she had the power, and but the captain didn't really believe her, and so he put her into training. So now she's going through the training process for what they call the silver block, which is the highest level of soldier for the military. And yeah, so that's she's right now she got through the first like stage or two of the like first couple tests and stuff, and so they are in their barracks now. It's kind of like that point where they're all getting to know each other and kind of sussing out the social dynamic within their group. So all of the recruits are split into 2 cells, red cell and black cell. The main character's in black cell, and she is like learning everybody's names, learning where they're coming from, who their parents are, that kind of thing. So it's all kind of social dynamics right now. But ooh, medieval fantasy. That sounds fun. I know. I feel like finishing books, well, I love it, but I also hate it, because then you have to decide what you want to read next. And do you read any other genres, or you kind of just mainly fantasy? Because I definitely find that sometimes, I mean, I love fantasy. It's probably my favorite genre, but especially because they're usually thicker, they're usually a lot more dense and more, brain power needed to read them, that I like to read romances in between as kind of like a palate cleanser because I love romance books, but they're usually a lot more easy to read and also quicker because they're usually shorter. And so I'll usually like read a fantasy and then read a romance and then read a fantasy and then read romance. Read romance. Ooh, any genre. Love that. The one I feel like the is there any genre that you don't like as much or haven't really gotten into? Because I feel like for me, I've read a couple thrillers and I've liked them. I mean, I definitely wouldn't read horror because that's not my vibe at all. Um, but I've read a couple thrillers that have been good. But that's definitely one of the genres that I'm not as into. And like mystery is fun, I think. But I feel like usually those ones are a little less, yeah, for sure. And I like to read before I go to bed. And so if I'm reading horror before I go to bed, then I don't want to go to bed. So that's part of the reason too. But do you have any, since you said you liked fantasy, do you have any like favorite authors or book recommendations or anything? Because I'm always, always looking for book recommendations. So if you have any favorites or even just favorite authors, I'd love to get into it. I personally, Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors. I don't know if you've read anything by them or by him, but that's always a recommendation that I'll give people because I love his books. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you probably can't see it. I have a bunch of stuff on this shelf, but I have a bunch of Brandon Sanderson books back here. I need to eventually read the Stormlight Archive. I've only read the first book in that series, but I'm definitely gonna read it again because it's been a while. But I want to read that series because that's like his big one. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna keep reading for a second. But yes. Dragonlance Chronicles. I've never heard of that. Okay, wait, no, I have to look it up. That's a sick name, though. I feel like whoever says don't judge a book by its cover is like, that's a fair statement, but at the same time, I just feel like it's all 15? That's crazy. Are they thick or are they small? Because 15 books is wild. That makes me think of, what's it called? It's not A Wrinkle in Time. What are those books called? I can't remember what they're called. Um, Dragonlance. Dragonlance Chronicles. Ooh. I'll add the first one to my. Ooh, okay. Love that. So is it the same characters throughout, or is it like each trilogy's kind of focused on different ones, but they overlap a little bit? Okay, 400 pages isn't bad. Oh my gosh. That's cool. Okay, let me read the synopsis really quick. Also, love books with dragons and stuff, so that is very intriguing to me. Ooh. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing, but literally just the first couple sentences, I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. Okay, I'm adding that um to my list of want to reads. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I love this. Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Okay, perfect. I added Dragons of Autumn Twilight onto um my want to read list. Let me actually see right now so that I don't forget. I'm gonna see if it's on um Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Okay. It is. That's so cool. Okay. I'm gonna place a hold on the first one um at the library. I use Libby a lot of the times to get my books, so I put a hold on it. So hopefully that comes in and I can read it on my Kindle. Ooh, that's so exciting. Thanks for the recommendation, Mr. Hangman. That's awesome. I honestly love rereading books. I That's kind of how I go about doing my rating sometimes too. Like obviously I'll rate it based on how much I like it, but usually if I really like it, it has a higher rating and a lot of times I'll give books The only ones I like to give 5 stars to is ones I'd read again. So like some of these aren't because I just bought them before I had read them. But like these ones, the Apprentice to the Villain series, this one's a fun. It's like technically fantasy because it's magic and stuff, but it's like fantasy romance, but like slow burn. And I think there's a fourth book coming out. But it's like kind of a comedy. It's anyways, it's really good. But I rated that 5 stars, so I bought all the books because I like to read them again. And then you can't see them, but I have a couple romance series and just romance books in general up here that I loved and would absolutely read again. So I gave those ones 5 stars as well. But love that. Ooh, you're writing? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I always love it when people jump in. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Just wanting to rush and everything. It's so funny because I don't want to say that I hate slow burns, but I also don't love slow burns. But if they're done in the right way, they can be epic. Because as long as the slow burn isn't either super unrealistic or annoying in the sense that it's just a ton of miscommunication, that can be a little bit annoying. But if it is done right, oh, it hits so different because there's just so much tension building up and it just, oh, it's awesome. I love that. Are you writing, is it like a novel, like full novel, or is it short story, or never use the term unsheathed? I think that's fair. Um that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Have you written things before, or is this kind of like a first venture into writing something, or give me a little more details. I love this. That's so fun. Okay, I'm gonna be hopping back a little bit and forth. Full novel, amazing. Okay, I'm gonna hop back and forth a little bit, but yeah, give me more details. I'm excited to hear. Ooh. Okay, I love that. Wow, that's a lot of books that you've written. That's very impressive. Have you what was I gonna ask? How long did it take you? That's my main question. I'm so interested. Cause I mean, obviously I love reading. I'm reading on a stream, but I've also always loved writing, and I was literally just talking to some of my friends yesterday that I one of my dreams in life, which is taking me a long time to actually just say it out loud because I have no really foundation for it, but one of my dreams is to write a book, and I have no idea what I would write, how I would go about it, when I would start, whatever. But that's kind of one of my dreams. So I always love talking to people that have written books because it just the process fascinates me, especially when I think about different authors like Brandon Sanderson, for example. I don't know if you've read any of his books or like follow him or know much of him at all, but he has written so many books. And I am just fascinated by the fact that you can have that much information and creativity and imagination in your brain to just be, and I'm sure writing a book is such a process. So to for him to just be able to bang them out is crazy to me. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that concept. I'm sure you're getting into kind of each of their individual lives in the in betweens of when they meet up with each other. So that's actually really cool. I like that. Okay. Wow. Is that what you do for, I mean, sorry, I'm asking you a lot of questions, but are you like a writer full time? Is that what you do? Or is this kind of just in your in between, like you work a full time job and then you just write on the side? But if you really focus, then you can write them in 3 weeks. That's so cool. Fascinating. I love that. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Well, if you want to send me anything that you want me to read, I would be happy to read it. That's so cool. I mean, I feel like that's really what life should be. Like you should be finding things that you're passionate about. I love that you're just writing cuz you love it and you want people to hear your stories and read your stories and enjoy them. And that's I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Like that's why I wanted to start this cuz I wanted to find other people that love to write and love to read, and it's you're just doing it for fun. I mean, obviously, if you can make money from it, great. That's always a bonus, but doing something you love, I feel like is the main reason you should be doing it, you know? I love that. That's so cool. Uh that's hilarious. Okay, so end of chapter 9, they have the one less bunk for the recruits, and the girl that's gone through the program before says that they always do that so they can see who has the bleeding heart. Someone always inevitably gives up their bunk for the person that doesn't get one, and then in the morning they get axed because they think compassion is a weakness. And so Ren decides to give up her bunk to the girl that didn't have one, and she's like, great. She's confident that they're not going to cut her because Captain Cross wants to keep her close, which means he'll keep her in the program. But if they do, then great. They'll send her back to the wards, is what she's thinking. So, but she ends up, the girl feels really guilty. She's like, I don't want you sleeping on the floor. She's like, who says I'm sleeping on the floor? She ends up bunking with the flirty guy, even though it's a small bed. Okay, that was chapter 9. Okay, chapter 10. Oh, she's so. Oh, what's the word? She's very ornery, I feel like is the right word for that. She's definitely doing all she can to like poke at the leader the leaders. Oh yeah, I forgot. The one of the guys that's kind of like leading the recruits and, giving them instructions and stuff is a boy that she knew in her, I don't know if he was in her ward or if she just knew of him, but he basically, his mom was a mod, one with the powers, and she kept it hidden for his whole life, and then one day just made, a small mistake, and he turned her in. His own mother turned her in, and she got sent to like the mines or some camp where they make them work basically for the rest of their lives. He's taking her to the captain. Jeez. Don't like windows in this place, apparently. Oh, she really is ornery. That's so funny. Also, I have a theory, which I shared this on my last stream, but the captain, she had a little run in him with him in the very beginning of the book, didn't know who he was, all the different things, but then sees that he's the captain, and he's got tattoos all over his arms. And I'm wondering if he is gonna actually be like associated with the uprising, and maybe he's actually a mod, and he has the tattoos to cover up the, like, I don't know how much the veins glow, if it's like glow, or if they just like turns over. So that was my theory. I don't know if that's going to be true, but I typically don't try to guess the ends of books because I don't have the time, and I don't really care to because I'd rather just be in the story and not think about it too much. Because then it just, you get there and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that. But that's just me. Oh, that's okay. When or if you ever do have something that you would love to share, I would love to read it. So you can, follow or anything, and you can always send me anything. I would love to read. I mean, hey, I'll still read it if you want to send it over. I love that. Do you have people like in your life that you will send stuff, even if it's unedited, that you'll send stuff to read it, give you feedback, all that kind of stuff? Or do you just kind of write it and then kind of set it and forget it? Oh my gosh. Okay, they're like flirting, but with like a lot of tension and uh angst. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. That's fair. I mean, I definitely feel like that makes sense in terms of a writing process. So that's understandable. Do you do all the editing yourself, I'm guessing? What do you feel like is the hardest section of writing it? Like, do you feel like the writing is harder, or do you feel like I'm sure the editing is harder, would be my guess. But do you feel like in each time you edit it, it gets easier to edit it, or do you feel like it gets harder as you edit it? Interesting. Wow. That's cool. What do you feel like is the hardest part with writing? Do you feel like it's coming up with the idea? Do you feel like it's making it feel seamless? I'm curious. Thank you for answering all my questions, by the way. I haven't talked to a lot of people that write like full books. Um, so I have a lot of questions. Mmm, interesting. I haven't really thought about that about before, I guess. You feel like it's the okay, love that. Okay, that definitely makes me want to read more of your stuff though, because the action and the setting I feel like is so important. I mean, obviously the in between stuff is important because that makes it feel like it flows well, but I love good action scenes in books are it's honestly hard to come by because you have to describe it in a way, one, that makes sense and is plausible, but two, that makes it like believable and easy to actually see in your brain. Because obviously, when you're watching a movie or a show, it's easy to just kind of throw things in there. But with a book, you have to be able to picture it, and it has to hit. You know? Okay, I'm gonna copy this. Oh yes, okay, I will definitely save that. Amazing! Thank you for sending that. I will definitely read it. Um, yeah, because I think the chat's save, so I'll go back into the chat later and grab that link and open it up. But yay, I'm so excited. Thank you for sending me that. She definitely has the hots for the captain, even though it's obviously against everything that she wants to be happening. Honestly, that's the absolute worst. They're admiring him as he stands in front of the room, and she says, he was trying to get under my skin. I know that. I just wish it hadn't worked. And that is the worst. When you know that someone is trying to get under your skin, but it still works and you can't help it that it gets under your skin. It's honestly the worst. Whoa, 3 years? Dang. Do you have like ideas that you've kind of played with and you just didn't like any of them, or and what do you feel like is the block of why it like none of them have felt right? Hopefully that question makes sense. Okay. That's fair. So like it's the title won't like give anything away or make anything too obvious. I feel like that makes sense. I read a book, it was the last book that I read while I was streaming, called The Love Haters by Catherine Center. Was that what it was? Yeah. The Love Haters by Catherine Center. It was a romance book, and it was kind of it was a somewhat ambiguous um title, just because like she made a mention of it when she was kind of introducing the characters of like, oh, they hate love, but the entire book wasn't actually about them hating love. It was like their journey, but then also, no, it's totally fine. This is part of this is honestly one of the reasons why I love streaming. When people drop into the chat and talk to me, I love it. It's so fun. I can go back and forth, but I love getting to know you and asking you all the questions, and thank you for humoring me. But when I got to the end of the book, it was I kind of had like an epiphany of what the title of the book meant. It was like, yeah, she said that the characters kind of hated love at the beginning, but then they learned to be okay with it, or like want to find love. But the main character was really going through a journey of learning to love herself. And it was almost like she hated herself, and it was so hard for her to love herself because she hated herself. And so it was kind of a title that had two different meanings, which I feel like was kind of cool. So I definitely could understand how choosing a title for it is probably really hard, especially if it's something that you really enjoyed writing or was just kind of a passion project. I feel like that makes it harder to almost like finalize it, because I feel like once you have a title, unless the title comes first, which could definitely happen, but I feel like that kind of makes it feel more final of like, okay, this is the title and this is, the book is done. But oh my gosh, no way. Oh, okay, so Liddy is giving her all this information. One of the other recruits in their cell was actually dated the captain. And so they're talking about like, oh, she needs to, like, is she going through the program again to try to get close to him? Because they broke up when he went into command, and all the different things. And then Liddy just revealed that General Redden, who's like the guy that is in control of everything, like he's like the president. They don't call him the president, but that's the captain's dad. So the man that she is inevitably going to fall in love with is the son of the general who is trying to kill all of her people. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yes, I do annotate. I I typically I typically don't write in them unless it's a nonfiction, just because in nonfictions I like to, it's usually a lot more about self-reflection, so I'll, underline and write things down. But I always annotate my book. So like in this book, I have my sticky notes that I use. I just use this as my bookmark, and I like to annotate. I don't necessarily go super crazy, so it's not like I have like certain colors or certain things, but I like to go kind of in the themes. Like I'm using the blue ones down here just because it's like, I don't know, silver and blue. And also the edges are painted, and it's like black and blue. So, but yeah, I will annotate and put sticky notes on either words that I like, or funny things that make me laugh, things that make me cry, really good quotes. And sometimes I'll put them on, things that I think are going to be important that I want to come back to or remember, like, oh, this was when I made that, the guess that he was actually modified because his tattoos are covering his thing up. But yeah, so I almost always annotate, at least a little bit. Oof. Yeah, though. Okay, yes. That's why I use sticky notes, because I like keeping my books pristine as well. So oh my gosh, bending pages is literally I hate that. Like when people dog ear as their bookmark. Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. I mean, to each their own, but I just, it makes me cringe, honestly. I don't like it at all. Oh, oh, she cracks the spine. I do that thing. I don't know. I think I saw it on a TikTok or an Instagram or something, but it was like it with a paperback book. If you start, you like put it on the table like this, and then you take just like a small piece from each side and bend it, and then you kind of like press it, and then you just do it slowly, and you go like bit by bit, then you'll like open the book and like make it more flexible, but it doesn't actually crack the spine, so you can't like see the folds on the end. Because I'm the same way. I don't like this one. I mean, it's harder with huge chungus books like this, but this one definitely has like the wear and tear of having it cracked. But yeah, I definitely don't like that. It bugs me. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes I'll hesitate to let people borrow my books, because I guess it depends on the person, but I am always nervous that I'm going to get a book back and it's going to be like in terrible condition. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's true too. Like those little books that aren't like, I don't know, as kind of staples. Because if it's going to be sitting on my bookshelf, like I want it to look pretty. You know what I mean? So why not keep it in good condition? Aberrant is what they call them. So the aberrant are the silver bloods, the modifieds, the people with the power, and the primes are the people that don't have the power. Ooh, okay, Captain Cross's brother just walked in. Excellent. Family skeletons mean more intelligence. Oof. So the brother that just came in is his half brother. It's the general's bastard. So lots of social dynamics and oh, and he's joining the recruits. That's gonna be crazy. I just want her to do good. Like she's gonna try to. I don't know what she's gonna try to do. If anything, I want her to do good to just rub it in their entitled faces. That is true though. It's like it's actually so hard to do something badly that you know how to do so well, and that's almost second nature. It's kind of like for me with singing. If I try to sing bad, it's honestly hard. Like not that I'm incredible or not that I'm really good, but it's just so second nature for me to just sing that singing bad is kind of hard. And so she's just basically talking right now about how she is having a really hard time being bad at shooting because their first class that they're in right now is like weapons training. And Captain Cross saw her take the shot that saved the boy from the wolf, and she shot it right through the eye from like 200 yards away or something like that. I don't know. That's really far. And so, she's basically acting like she's not good. And, everybody's snickering at her and laughing at her or whatever. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so interesting because she's basically trying to um she's trying to fail out of the class essentially, but the captain told her like I'm not going to let you fail out. He's like I've seen what you're capable of, and I'm keeping you close, so it's not going to happen. Interesting. Okay, I got to look at the map because the continent they're talking about. Okay, what? They're basically talking about like down south and they don't know. I actually think it's supposed to be North America. It's just kind of like a ravaged version of it, essentially. Because they're using locations New Virginia, South Ontario. It's obviously like post apocalyptic. Like there was a huge war and there was a bunch of like bombings and stuff. But they're talking about how like down south they the continent that's down south, they've tried to, go and take it over, or what's the word? Words are failing me. Oh yeah. That's so true. I haven't thought about that. That's actually something that is interesting for me as a reader. I feel like I actually don't. I mean, I guess this is a little bit more specific to like setting than physical things like cups and plates and stuff. But I've definitely found that when books use it's like fully real world and they're using places and stuff that we know or that we use, it for some reason actually pulls me out of the story a little bit more, because I think what I love so much about reading, specifically fiction, is that it feels like an escape. It feels like I'm going into a different world, and I think that's why I love fantasy so much. And so even with romance, if I'm reading a book that is like super heavy on, it's less setting, I think, because the Love Haters, or no, it wasn't the Love Haters, it was the Passion Project, that I just recently finished. That one was set in New York, and so the setting was good, and I feel like there wasn't so much of trying to pull in, names of places that a lot of people would know, that it still felt like I was in it and like almost in a different world in a sense, even though it was modern day. But I feel like when books try to bring in like even celebrity names, or you know I don't know, it just pulls me out of it a little bit, and I am not a huge fan of that. But to I mean, more specifically, just answer your statement, I definitely feel like that. I've never thought about that, but it definitely makes sense, because like how do you figure out what to describe or give more detail on and what not to? For some reason that just made me think of, I haven't read, my family read the Lord of the Rings books when I was really young, so I don't actually remember them at all, but love, 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 love the movies. But I want to reread the books, because I have definitely heard that Tolkien is kind of known for, I would say, over describing things. Like, I feel like the joke is that he'll take, 2 full pages to describe a tree. And some people love that, obviously, but there's also people that will get bored of it, which is, I I get it if that's your writing style, but it's also kind of sad, because then that, even just that piece alone is now taking a subsection of people that would probably love the actual storyline and the book, and just taking them out because they don't want to read about trees for 3 pages. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yep. You get it. You get it. You get me. And I feel seen right now. So she just had an interaction with the bastard brother. And that's going to be an interesting dynamic. I honestly am loving this book and very excited to see where it goes, because it's so, these types of books where it's like kind of young people and there's so many social dynamics and they're competing, and oh, I love it. It's kind of like, it reminds me of oh, what is it? It's right here. Red Rising. Ooh, oh, actually, Mr. Hangman, have you read Red Rising? I'd be interested to hear if you have, and if you haven't, highly recommend, because it's so good. Highly recommend then. If you like fantasy, and if you like kind of just, social dynamics and competition and magic and post-apocalyptic, all the things. It's so good. I gave it to one of my friends as a recommendation, and I recommend books lightly, or not lightly. I don't recommend books lightly. I recommend books with much thought and Redwall. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me make sure that I'm thinking of the right books. Give me 1 second. Redwall. Yes. Oh my gosh, I have. Okay. I feel like the Redwall books were kind of a staple in my childhood. It's been so long, so I don't really remember any of it, to be honest, but I do remember because my parents did a really good job of kind of teaching us how to love reading. And I mean, one, teaching us how to read, because like I started kindergarten when I was 6, and because I was a little bit on the older side, and my mom taught me how to read before I even started, so I could already read when I went to kindergarten. And so I just learned from a really young age to love reading, and so I started reading chapter books pretty early, and there was definitely a lot of books that we read like together as a family, or like my parents would read them with me when I was like before bed or whatever. And Redwall was one of those series that we had. I don't think we had all of them, but we had a lot of them on our shelf. And so we used to like try to find them at used bookstores and stuff. But how many books are there? Because I swear there's like a billion. Let's see. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of. Okay, it looks like I'm just looking on Goodreads right now, but it looks like there's 22 of them, which is crazy. And it looks like they all have actually really good ratings, at least on Goodreads. They're all like at least 4 stars. Dang, that's so wild. Okay, I put the first Redwall book on my list of books to read, because I'm actually curious to see if I love them as much as I did when I was a kid. Redwall. I'm gonna see if it's on. Okay, I'm gonna place the first one on hold at the library. Oh, I love this. This is so exciting. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Losing books. Wow, this is so fun. Okay. Okay, jumping back in. So she just so I think I was explaining this earlier, but the modifieds, the people that have the power of telepathy, they can break into the shields, because primes, a lot of them, well, in this era, it's required to learn how to shield, basically. And obviously all of the soldiers and stuff, they learn how to do it very well because they're soldiers, but all the citizens know how to do it somewhat, but most of the time their shields are really easy to break through. And so a modified can they can, if they break through a shield, then they can read their mind. And there's different, within the modified people, there's different like giftings that they have in like ways to use their power. But and so they're about to go in this class, because they're doing a shielding class right now. But when two modifieds link up, or try to like read each other's minds or whatever, it's actually a link, so they can talk to each other in their minds. But and there was a whole thing with when she was getting interrogated. Typically, if modifieds connect, there's like a jolt of energy or whatever, because it's an actual link. And so you basically are giving the other person it's like an energy stamp almost, and so you can actually feel it's a unique like signature. And so you can, try to connect with somebody, and it doesn't matter the distance, they can connect from anywhere. And so she's sitting in this class, but she's connecting with her best friend, who is still in Ward Z. And I don't know, I'm a little bit suspicious, not in a like they're against her kind of way, but I'm a little suspicious about the uprising's like intentions, because I think what happened is when she was young, she manifested powers very, very early, and her parents died. I don't know, I don't remember how they died. I don't think they told us, but her parents died, and Jim took her in and basically was teaching her all the things. I feel like that was probably an assignment from the uprising for him to take care of her and protect her and teach her. And then they were basically saying when he got captured, she went to her contacts, or their contacts in the uprising, and was like, we need to go get him back. We need to save him. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. And she was like, what do you mean? He's like one of your greatest assets. And they're like, actually, no, he's not. He's been in hiding for years. He can't really do much for us anymore. He's not. And I think the reason that is because he was, until they gave him the assignment of taking care of her. And then she became their greatest asset. And so she got, they took her after her uncle got killed. They took her to a safe house. And that was kind of like her chance to, be in hiding and be safe or whatever. And she ran away because she went to go try to save her uncle because they weren't going to do it. And she essentially then she, linked up with her best friend after she got interrogated and all the different things. And she was like, yeah, they are basically saying that you gave up your one chance of us helping you when you ran away from the safe house. And so, like, they're not going to try to come get you out. But I think that they're actually trying to force her into it because they see this as an incredible opportunity for her to, like, infiltrate from the inside. And so I think they probably gave her best friend, like, instructions essentially to, like, try to keep her there, kind of. And, like, because she's telling her that she's better off staying where she's at, because, like, life in Ward Z, where she's from, is, like, been crazy. So anyways, that was a lot of context, but yeah, just kind of trying to explain where we're at. Yeah. Okay, so inciting is the name for the power of being able to control people. Interesting. Okay, so there's apparently, within aberrants, there's telepaths, which is people that can read minds. There's projectors, which, as far as they know, they only project what they are seeing in the moment. They can't project something that they're conjuring in their mind. There's, oh wait, mind readers. Or maybe telepaths is like the overarching, I don't know. They'll probably get into more details. But then there's mind readers, there's healers, there's empaths, which they can't make you feel something, but they feel what you're feeling. Oh, what a concept. And then precogs, which I'm guessing is like seeing or knowing what's going to happen before it happens. And then insiders, which are people that can make people do things, essentially. Perfect. I like to give summaries every once in a while, or just updates or context, especially if people are jumping in, later in a stream, or when I'm, partway through a book or whatever. But glad it made sense for the most part. 1,900 words, too short for a chapter. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I have a great, like, framework for how long that actually would be. Honestly, though, I would say I kind of like short chapters because I'm somebody that, okay, that's a lot of words. Do you know, like, if you were giving me, like, this is the size of the book, like, how many pages would you say that is? Oh, okay, perfect. You read my mind. 7 pages. No, I actually feel like, okay, so 5,000 words you're saying is about 7 pages. So 1,900 would be, what, like 3? No. Is that bad math? 4? 3.5? LOL. Um, I okay, 3 or 4. Yeah, I think if all of them were that short, it would maybe feel a little bit choppy. But I feel like every once in a while, having a short chapter, I kind of like it. Because I'm somebody that, especially if I'm like, when I'm doing a stream, it doesn't make as much of a difference. But if I'm just like out and about or I'm reading or I want to sit down and like read for a little bit, if I don't have a ton of time, I actually don't really love starting a chapter if I know I can't finish it. So if it's really long, because I don't like to stop in the middle of the chapter, because the ends of chapters make it feel like a complete thought, or like this was like this moment in time. And so I actually don't mind shorter chapters. I think, again, if it's every single chapter is that short, then it could feel a little bit choppy. But I think it just depends on what you're trying to communicate and how you're trying to progress the story within that specific chapter, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, that's fair. I think I would say when it comes to describing things, at least for me as a reader, I feel like the main things that need to be described are things that are gonna actually have some weight, or going to affect the story or the character in some way. So I don't think that there needs to be a lot of unnecessary description, because then it just gets kind of boring, if I'm being perfectly honest. Um, but yeah, I feel like if you leave it how it is now, and then you could always go back, and if you feel led to add more later, or maybe even you write the next couple chapters or whatever, and you feel like there's a detail that you could add in that chapter that would make a difference, or maybe help to build the story a little bit more, then you could do that. I feel like that's a good idea. Ooh. Okay, they're gonna test them with the modified. Okay, wait, I'm getting lost now. Yeah, when I write, I just keep writing until I finish the book. Yeah, that makes sense. For sure. I feel like if you try to do it while you're doing it, then you get kind of lost in the sauce, in the process of doing it. Oh yeah, the foreshadowing. That's always important. I always love, again, like I said earlier, I'm somebody that doesn't necessarily try to like guess what's going to happen. Um but it's it's fun to like see, or after I've read the book, I'll go back and like watch people's like theories about who knows what and who's who and all the different things. Yeah, I'm not going to click on that. Okay. Okay, I think I'm maybe going to read one more chapter, and then I'm going to be done for the day. But oh, this is so fun. Thanks for hanging out with me, Mr. Hangman. This has been so fun to just talk to you, get to know you, and read at the same time. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna ask you this, Mr. Hangman, since you're in here hanging out. Um, I so far on streams, I've been like this one and the couple romance books that I've read. I don't read it outside of the stream. I only read on the stream. So then that way, where I end is then where I pick up on the next one. Do you feel like that's the best way to go about it, or do you think it would be okay if I like read a little bit outside of it? Although I wouldn't want to finish it obviously, but like maybe just read a couple chapters or something. But I feel like part of the fun is, getting to read it real time, and having everything, being reactions and stuff. But I'm just trying to think of like ways to keep it engaging, because I do think that it's there's definitely times where I'm just reading and I'm not, saying anything or reacting to anything, and I that's probably not that entertaining. But I try to that's where it's nice to have like people in the chat that I can talk to, and then, trying to give context and talk as much as I can. But just curious to if you have any thoughts on, how engaging the stream has been, if you have any tips or tricks or whatever, as a watcher, as somebody that's dropped into the chat, like any thoughts that you have, I would greatly appreciate. You can think on it a little bit. I'm going to read this chapter still. It's interesting how, like, I mean, obviously, and I think this is true of any and just humans in general, but it's interesting how there's obviously the outliers of the modifieds that are, evil or use their powers for, nefarious purposes or whatever. But I'm assuming most of them are not evil. Most of them don't really care. Like, obviously, they'll probably use it for convenience, but it's not like they're trying to hurt people. But obviously, when there was the coup and they killed the previous president who was modified, they basically used the history to create a narrative about all the modifieds are evil and all they want to do is hurt you and kill you and all the different stuff. So they're like terrified. She's been surprised how terrified her classmates are, that because they brought in basically a modified that's a slave, to test all their shields after their first class. So she's not doing a good job of not drawing attention to herself. No. No, don't do it. I forgot. Okay, so there's one more piece of context. So when she was 6, she actually linked with another like kid. And so they basically like been friends in their minds for years and years because she's never actually met him. And we don't know who it is. All we know is that every once in a while they link and they've, been friends for a long time, and she's kind of he's like kind of her anchor. Like anytime she's just struggling with stuff, like she'll reach out to him. But they don't know anything about each other, really, like any significant details or whatever, because they knew it wasn't safe. So oh geez. Of course the chapter I end on is like she's taking a walk with Kane in the darkness, and then she sees an open door with a motorcycle, and she probably wants to try to escape, but I'm assuming it's not actually gonna happen. Anyways, okay, I gotta be done. We're almost at 2 hours, but this has been super fun. I have enjoyed so much getting to chat with you, and yeah, just diving back into this book. So I will see y'all again next Monday at 10 a.m. And yeah, if you guys have any book recommendations or any thoughts on the stream or ideas that you have for me, or any adjustments that I should make or anything like that, just let me know. I would love to yeah, just adjust and make things better and more entertaining and more fun for you guys, and just, yeah, finding more people to connect with. And I love having people that are writers send me stuff. So if you have stuff you want to send me, send it over. I'll read it. And I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you guys next